There's a chance you probably clicked on this video not knowing who I am, so let me introduce myself very quickly. I am a person who loves movies. I love cinema, and I love good movies so much that I will watch the bad ones so you don't have to.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And over the weekend, I watched a movie called Madam Web, and let me tell you, it is worth that 11% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
This is the worst!
I've never seen a movie this bad before. It's actually comical, and it stars Dakota Johnson, who is from 50 Shades of Grey. And if you thought her acting range there was great, you should see it here. It's almost like she didn't want to be in the movie during the movie. It also features a French guy doing what I think is an accent that a human being does.
Butter.
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 A taxi that is stolen. A guy who looks like Spider-Man had sex with Venom. It's also got Ben from Parks and Recreation in it. He also plays a person called Ben, so that's good. And a few other things that I hated while watching this movie. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is 100% true. I took pre-workout to sit down and do this review because I hate it so much that I needed a boost. Hand to God, I did that. I'm going to attempt to show you this movie. I hope that you don't watch it, but if you do, please consider subscribing by the end of the video if you like it. Alright guys, listen up. I know you've been seeing this everywhere. I Wanna Gummies. If you haven't heard about them yet, let me break it down. These guys are going viral right now for being the first wellness brand to offer trial kits for just 20 bucks. Yeah, you heard me right. You can try out $250 worth of their best products for only $20. I mean, who else is doing that? So what's the deal with these gummies? It's simple. They're delicious and they actually work. Whether you need to wake up, focus on a project, chill out after a long day, or get a good night's sleep, I Wanna Gummies has a gummy that's tailor-made for you. Think about it. You don't have to juggle different supplements or drinks anymore. Just grab a gummy, pop it in your mouth, and let the magic happen. Trust me, it's like candy, but better, because it does exactly what it says. No over-the-top promises, just real results. And now for the best part. Because I love you guys so much and I want to make your life a little sweeter, you can use the code 16 to get a massive 40% off your first purchase. Yeah, 40% off anything they've got in stock. Talk about a sweet deal, right? So here's what you do. Head over to iwannagummies.com, grab yourself a trial kit, or go all in on the full-size products. And don't forget to use that code 16 to save big. Trust me, once you try them, you'll see what the hype is all about. Whether you're winding down after a long day or need that extra boost in the morning, these gummies have got your back. So sit back, relax, and let this company gum in your mouth. They paid me to say that. It's not just wellness. It's delicious wellness. And remember, this is our little gift to you. Happy gumming, my friends. You won't regret it. Okay, Madam Web. It's not actually a Marvel movie, so there's no end credit sequence. I actually stayed to watch. It's Sony. Sony has done a few movies where they have messed up the genre. I want to go on record and say that as a person who loves movies, I don't necessarily not like Marvel or superhero movies. I think they're fine, but I think in moderation it's good. For instance, let's take Thor. The first movie was not that great, but then Taika Waititi came in and he reinvigorated Thor to the point that everyone loved it. Then he overdid it. And now we have Thor Love and Thunder or whatever the hell it is at this point. So I feel like there was a sweet spot where all of the movies were so good. And people seemingly can agree that Endgame, Avengers, was probably at the peak of what we're gonna get. We did have Spider-Man after that. The good ones, they were pretty good, especially the animated, which is not actually technically Marvel, but I don't know. And it's really good. But now we have Madam Web. Now, I thought, personally, I didn't read the comics. I thought Madam Web was Spider-Man with boobs. And I was like, okay, well, that's two things I like. But it's not that. It's not like that at all. This movie, I don't know why exists. I don't know what. I think the movie was like, Morbius said that it was the worst movie, and they were like, no, ours is. And then set to prove that record. So that's kind of all I'm thinking with this movie. So I gotta say, the average audience doesn't necessarily like movies like I do. I feel like there's a very specific type of person, a moviegoer, who sometimes watches a movie to switch off, watch some CGI, and enjoy themselves. And I'll tell you what, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's probably the best way to watch a movie. I personally have a very stupid way of watching movies where I have to analyze the movies. I've been watching movies since I was 2 years old, and I've loved it since then. So I can't even switch that part of my brain off. It becomes a little annoying at times. But you get those moviegoers as well. And I have nothing against great CGI movies, whatever. But seeing everyone agree that this movie was bad, made my expectations very high for this movie. And so I watched it. I want to read you a few reviews from people, and then we'll get into the movie, just so you know what you're getting yourself into. So shockingly inept that it's hard to believe it's real. I'm not sure where to start. A film so bad it would almost put you off going to the cinema. It doesn't take clairvoyance to see this franchise has no future.
They're almost impossible to find. No one's ever captured one alive.
So this movie takes place in a New York, fictionalized version of New York in 2003 that is an alternate timeline where Spider-Man doesn't exist. But there are nods to Spider-Man, and we will talk about them later. But originally, this is the mom. This is Madam Mom Webb. I don't know what her name is. And she's looking for a spider. Nobody knows why, but she wants the special spider. At this point, she finds the spider, and the bad guy who's her security shoots up some other people. If you look at this one scene, he shoots someone from behind their head, and then they move backwards. Now, I don't want to be a stickler, and I've done my absolute hardest not to say why some of the filming and cinematography is just not my cup of tea, but that is crazy, okay? Come on, at least make him fall forward. Would it affect the scene if he fell correctly? Would it? At least it would get me off your back. You don't want me on your back.
I don't understand. No,
Nur Duhib. Is she in The Mummy? Why is she speaking? What is Nur Duhib? They couldn't do another take where she said non-gibberish? Really? She might as well have been like, skibbity bop! Yes. Really? Also, the filming goes from Steadicam, normal dolly setups, to random zooms like it's The Office. If you had a laugh track over this would be The Office meets Seinfeld. Like, why? Why?
we could help so many people.
Not interested. No one helped me when my family was starving.
So the bad guy gets his motivation. His family was starving at some point, so now he has to shoot people and get a spider. When I say this is one of the worst bad guys written, I mean, not only is it badly acted, and I'm really sorry to the actor, maybe he's a good actor in other roles, but in this one, oh my god. No. But maybe that's because he has no motivation. So when we talk about movies, talking about bad guys is a very important thing. Let's say we look at people like the Coen brothers who write characters like in No Country for Old Men, that dude with the hair that looks like a Karen. I forget his name. But he's a bad guy, and he's a complex character. And that usually means that when you have a complex character, an audience can sit and watch a movie and be like, oh, I don't agree with him, but I can understand his behavior. And it actually usually makes the audience feel better about a film because they're not dummies, and the director is not treating them like that. This guy is just like, nobody helped my family, and then starts shooting people up. What? Okay. So anyway, Madam Mom Webb gets shot, and then he takes the spider and runs away. And then you think Madam Mom Webb is going to go down, but she gets saved by the village people. I don't actually know what they're called, but they come in from trees and then they scoop her up and they save her. So everything's good. But she's also pregnant. She's a pregnant mom by herself in the jungle trying to find a spider and then gives birth. So there's a lot, I know. Oh yes, she also gets bitten by the spider she was trying to save, or whatever, the rarest spider in the world. They also had one just at their existence. So she didn't need to die. And just by the way, these people watched the woman get shot and then decided to save her after. This is the type of movie that we're gonna watch. When you actually think about what's going on, it's actually one of the worst pieces of crap you could ever see. So then the village person or whatever he is says that I'll be here when this baby inevitably has a troubled time and comes back to Peru. So he decides he's gonna be the surrogate father just for that moment. He's like the Rafiki off like the Lion King. When it needs to happen, he'll say like the thing. That's what we're doing with that. It then cuts to a scene like where she's all grown up and she's a paramedic. Now, let's talk about Madam Webb. Dakota Johnson, I don't know anything about her. I've only seen 0 movies of hers. Actually, I didn't even watch 50 Shades of Grey. But I don't know if she's just not supposed to be likable as a human being or something. I'm not really sure what is happening. But this is easily the most detestable protagonist ever. There's nothing fun about her. There's nothing likable about her. She's just really mean or sarcastic. I don't know if this is supposed to be quirky. Not really sure where this was going, but like she's just a really just not a nice person. And that, I mean, with Peter Parker in Spider-Man, we originally see that he's sort of this dorky dude who gets a chance with a girl who's above his league, and he's actually doing it well while also balancing his life, his family, his responsibility. We're like, wow, what a cool dude. I wish I was like that. When it comes to her, it's like, oh, please, can we get someone else? And that's not what you want to feel with your main character. You want people to like your main character. Right? Anyway, she's a paramedic who doesn't want to do her job. So she almost runs over a kid and also almost smacks into a car. I don't know who's the worst driver at this point. So it's initially she does that. She makes one smart aleck comment with her friend Ben, who's not actually her romantic interest, which makes no sense to me because they do things as if they would be a romantic couple. So I don't know in the comic if there's something that I'm missing here. If anybody in the comments could tell me, I guess they're just platonic friends, but she definitely wants to bang him. I'm sensing that. They end up saving whatever patient is in the back of their car. We never really hear about that or see that. It's just hearsay. But then a nurse comes out and says, thank you. You managed to save the patient by driving really well. And the kid even draws a picture for young Madam Web. And she's like, ew. What the hell? Why would anybody like this character? Which person is so heartless that they have a job saving people? And when a kid is like, thank you for saving my mom, you're like, get out of my face, you idiot kid. If it was up to me, I would have crashed this whole paramedic car.
You know what? Mr. Ben Parker here did all the work, so...
This kid is like, bro, can someone take the stupid picture? I didn't even want to draw it. My dad was like, you have to say thank you. That's his drawing. He draws like a kid. He's an idiot.
Are you all immediate family?
God.
I'm her stepdaughter.
I think she might prefer...
Yeah, it's okay, Dad. I'll see you guys back at your apartment.
It's about time I tell you this. This film is not just focused on Dakota Fanning. It's focused on 3 other younger girls that Dakota Fanning trains. Madam Web trains the other weblets, the webinars, or whatever you call them. And this girl is one of them. Her name, I think, is like Sweeney Todd or something, her real life name. Sydney Sweeney, something like that. I don't know anything about her. I just know that she's the stepdaughter of that actual mom, and what happened in that scene, even though you couldn't hear it, which was the actual audio, by the way, was that the nurse said, can we have immediate family? And then the dad and son went in and they were like, you're her stepdaughter. So if this movie is trying to be offensive to people who have brains, it's succeeding.
What am I supposed to do with this?
And yeah, and to end that beautiful scene, Madam Web is like, what do I do with a picture that a kid draws me? I mean, where do I burn this piece of crap? Remember when Spider-Man was in that train and then he saved everyone and his like mask was all off and people were like clapping and like carrying him back because they loved him? If it was Dakota Fanning as Madam Web, they would have pushed her onto the railway and she wouldn't... They would have liked the Green Goblin more than her. Jesus, the Green Goblin, these nuts, bro. This is crazy.
Let me come in and talk to you, Dad. I haven't seen him in a while. He works something out.
He's not home right now.
If you missed that, you get a glimpse. The director was being really cool there, getting a little glimpse, a cameo off the other girl who Dakota Fanning was going to see later on in the movie. These are the 3 girls, and the first one is the one that she almost ran over. So if she just ran her over, we wouldn't have this movie. And I don't, like running people over, but honestly, for this movie, you should have. Madam Web then goes to her amazing apartment, which is way too good for the amount of money that you would make as a paramedic. So that's a lie. I'm sorry. We're living in New York in 2003. As a paramedic, that's not happening. That's not happening. I saw Bringing Out the Dead. That's not happening. Honestly, you need to be a paramedic who does OnlyFans to actually live in an apartment like that in New York. For like $10,000 a month, you get a slice of pizza there. Okay. So that night, Madam Web opens a picture, a box, a suitcase where her mom is there, and that's that scene.
It won't open.
So then the next day happens and her and Ben are trying to save this dude who capsized his car and it's going off of a bridge. Normally, the paramedics actually don't go into the car to do that. Normally, the police or maybe firefighters would do that, but you know what? She's everything. She's my everything. So she's out here saving lives and making people want to be her wife.
I'm gonna get you out of there, okay? Just don't move.
Hi, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Robert.
Robert? I'm Cassie.
We're gonna move on 3, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You're gonna be okay, sir. Just try.
So Ben pulls out Robert because we need to know his name, and as he does, Madam Web gets trapped in the car. I don't actually know her name.
So we're gonna get you. Hey, get in!
Cassie, right? Of course.
Get in!
And then Madam Web, then it happens. This is how it happens. Madam Web has to almost drown for this to work. I don't know exactly, like for Spider-Man, he had to get bit by a spider.
Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider.
For Madam Web, her mom got bitten by the spider, then she came out, but maybe the drowning triggers the psychology. I'm not really following here, but her superpower is that she can see slightly into the future. At this point, we get amazing CGI shots that the visual effects directors are paid way too little money to do, so we get that. The scene lasts maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes of visual effects garbage. It doesn't really contribute to the scene. The only thing I can say about that scene is there's some foreshadowing that'll happen later, but there's just a bunch of like words and things on the screen. It's a lot coming at you at 1 second. Then she's woken up by Ben, who's finally like, oh man, I got you out of the water. I'm so glad you're alive.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
At this point, he takes her to the paramedic place, and then he's like, you need to see a doctor. And she starts having deja vus, which are actually visions that she has, and she's not aware that she's having visions yet.
I don't need a doctor. I trust you.
She wants to bang him. I could tell. It's the way she looked at him. That was the 50 Shades of Grey look. And that's not this movie. So something's going on.
Wait. I need to get your oxygen levels.
Again?
What are you talking about?
My O2 is 89.
Oh, you're right.
I just want to go home and watch Idol.
Yeah, in case you forgot, this movie was from 2003, which oftentimes you will forget because everything seems like it's done this year. Every now and again, the writer and director, beautiful, such great lines. She'll write something in that's like, oh, I gotta remind them it's 2003. In this particular instance, it's Dakota Johnson saying, I want to go home and watch Idol. At this point, we get a shot of the bad guy being an evil European man who's American. Every bad guy, right? If you have no idea what you're gonna do and how to write a bad guy, you just write him as someone who's rich and a pompous ass. That's it. No matter what. There's no reason that this bad guy should be so rich. There's no backstory as to how he got that money. He's just a very rich guy. And now he's seducing a lady into bed. Oh my god, if her apartment is good from being a paramedic, imagine what being evil pays you a year. So you can get that whole penthouse suite just by being evil? Sign me up, daddy. Jesus. This is from like the actual 2003, by the way. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man having Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. Like, you know, that's all I have to say about that. And then Doc Ock. Or if you want a complex, amazing character, of course, The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger as the Joker, as someone who really has more than just one dimension. I don't know if that's what the director was going for. I don't know if she wanted to make a great movie or just make a movie that people would watch. I'm not sure. Anyway, the bad guy has visions himself. So his superpower or his super evil power is he also got bitten by a spider. He has super strength and other random abilities that come and go because whatever. He also can see into the future, but he doesn't know how far into the future he's seeing. And he has this vision that 3 girls will kill him. So basically, he's living the nightmare of any Powerpuff Girl villain ever. I guess he's Mojo or something. Movies are also on big screens, right? They have a thing called ADR, additional dialogue replacement. This is when sometimes you say a word and it doesn't get caught on tape as well, and you have to redub some things. They redubbed a lot of this dude's lines, and there are very, very particular moments where you can see his mouth is not even trying to match up to what he's saying. That being one of them.
One day, you have no idea of the torment and torture of dying over and over again. I will find them and kill them first.
It is very distracting when it happens that often. And I don't know why she hired a man who probably couldn't do this accent or play this part, but that is kind of the whole point of casting. Someone got this wrong.
Can you imagine how frustrating it's been?
Do you see what I mean by his voice? Why does he sound like a toaster that came to life? What is this? It's very frustrating. Why? Why? Oh yes, I'm sorry, he also has venom in his hands. So you're probably asking, why doesn't Madam Web have all these powers and he does because they got bitten by the same spider? It's because that's the explanation that I got for you. So yeah. So again, let's recap on the supervillain, whose name is not actually said yet, so nobody knows. His actual name is Ezekiel, because of course it is. But we don't find that out. It just randomly appears at some point. Anyway, Ezekiel's motivation is that he has a dream that 3 girls are going to kill him. So now he is doing everything in his power to kill those people before they kill him. Most supervillains are trying to take over the world, do some evil stuff where they gain power. This man's whole motivation is that he is living in fear of being killed. That's not a supervillain, that's just a scared dude with superpowers. Wow. Didn't think it was possible for me to feel sorry for a villain, but here we are. Anyway, it's the next day. Cassie's recovered from her near-death drowning experience, and she's at the barbecue with other people who we've never met before.
I feel like there's more of a story there.
Yeah, then Mike Epps, who's in this movie for a whole 2 minutes for some reason, says exactly the point of Madam Web. I feel like there's more of a story there. I feel like everybody wants to know that. Also in this movie is Julia Roberts' daughter, Emma Roberts, for some reason is in this movie. Good actress is in this movie. Mike Epps, good comedian in this movie.
You're Ben's partner. I'm his sister-in-law, Mary.
Nice to meet you. Ben is so excited about being an uncle.
I don't know what we do without him, especially with Richard away. Again.
All right, so this is also very, very weird to me. Like, it's like this really weird. Ben says that he has a girlfriend, or he met someone and he's in a serious relationship with them. We never see that girl. This is Ben's sister-in-law, but they only ever talk about Ben to each other. And the sister-in-law has a husband who we never see either because he's traveling. His name is Richard, and he's a dick probably. Ben should either get with one of these two because it doesn't make any sense that we have so many partners who we don't see. Get with Madam Web or get with your brother-in-law's wife or whatever. Whatever. Just get a wife.
Where is it this time? He's in Mumbai, Shanghai. I can't keep track.
Two different places, completely different ethnicities. Tough to get those mixed up unless you're a racist. So yeah, it's a cookout party, but it's also a baby shower. It's both. It's a cookout baby shower. We're at the cookout having a baby shower. We're showering the baby with meat. Oh God, not like that. Jesus Christ.
My mother always cut the crusts off my crusts. Chloe, is that you?
Yeah, I don't know. This is probably what happens at baby showers. I've never been to one. But it's pretty boring, and it's also a very harsh setup to illustrate how awkward Madam Web is because her mom has died and she has some pent-up aggression as to why her mother has left. Because she obviously didn't get to meet her mother, and I don't know what happened to her father. We just never know about that one either. It's nice when the director is like, I don't really even care about the backstory. In Batman Begins, they obviously show Bruce Wayne's parents dying. In this movie, they're like, yeah, the mom dies. The dad, he doesn't even exist, really.
Oh, well, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like, I mean, obviously it was bad, you know. She died.
This is the only part of the movie I was like, that's funny. And I think like Dakota Johnson in the right role would probably be great. I think she even said at the end of this movie, after seeing the reviews and stuff, she's probably not right for this type of role, which is like, they got the casting so bad. Everything's bad here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like anybody in the right role would probably play a good character. And Dakota Johnson's probably just not made to be that like really like upbeat protagonist. So I guess everyone called it.
Calling everyone in, fire down at the docks.
In the middle of this baby shower is now a fire shower. I guess they're paramedics, but also firefighters. They're fire medics or parafighters. At this point, Cassie starts having visions, and one of her visions is that Mike Epps dies. I don't know their names at this point. I think his name is O'Neill, but he doesn't even have a first name. So I'm like 10% sure the director was like, oh, he's black. I'm gonna name him after Shaq. Anyway, she imagines O'Neill dies. Like a few times she has a vision that he's gonna get hit while he drives the car, and she tries to stop him, but she doesn't understand why she's having these visions. So many people are calling her, and she's like, can I please drive this truck? And O'Neill is like, yeah, no, that's weird. And guess what happens? He gets knocked and killed. So Cassie let this happen. This is the first time in Marvel history someone has let their friend die needlessly. She had 3 visions and was still like, ooh, he wants to drive. She pulls O'Neill out of the car and he's bleeding from his chest somehow. I've never been in a car crash on from the side, but I don't usually think that's how that works. But I guess the director was like, he needs to look like he's dead, obviously. So we'll just sprinkle some blood on him. And so they do. And O'Neill's dead. So I guess it just goes to prove that if you're black in a movie, you're probably gonna die first. It's been a thing. It's a running gag in cinema history, apparently. Unless you're in a Jordan Peele film, then you're probably gonna make it to the end. Thank God.
Wake up!
There's nothing you could have done.
I was watching the movie, didn't notice this, but now, once I had time to watch it again, finally on the small screen, I noticed this little ditty. Can you see that black car, that truck that ran over and killed O'Neill? Can anybody tell me where that truck is going? Seeing as the road ends and it's just an ocean. Was the truck trying to drive into the ocean? Why was it going so fast? That's a dead end.
Wait. No. It means bear right.
No,
up there.
It said right. It said take a right.
Can't mean that. There's a light there. No road here.
You know, they didn't have to show the shot. They didn't have to show that the truck was going to go off the cliff. And now that I've seen that, it makes it unintentionally the funniest death I've ever seen in my life, I think. The guy in the truck was like, I hate this job. And O'Neill just pulled up and he's like, ah, crap. The directing is astonishing. Okay, so we're back to the evil villain Ezekiel's crib. He's now wearing a 3-piece suit because, you know, you gotta look evil. And he now has an assistant who we never figure out why she wants to work for him. He's just got an evil assistant. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But in the future, they have powers. I will not give up.
I will not give up. Can you say it like more like a human? I will not give up. Like just can you try and say it like just like you're from this planet? Yeah, will not give up. Quick scene showing that he'll stop at nothing to kill teenagers. So it's very good, bro. Then we go back to Cassie, who is drinking herself to death or doing something, and the phone rings and it's Ben, and he says that O'Neill's funeral is today, so you should come here. He even says the line, "It would make a difference if you come." It's like Cassie's so unlikable that even when her friend passes away, it's about her. There is like nothing to like about her. So reluctantly, Cassie is like, damn, if it'll help the widower, then I guess I'll actually come to the funeral if it helps. I don't know how me being there is going to help, but she gets on a train and then she has a vision that this evil guy Ezekiel is going to come and wreck these 3 girls. He's going to take them out. And they all happen to be in the subway at the same time. So she has these visions, and because she let one friend die, she's now not willing to let these strangers do this.
This is the train to Mount Vernon, right?
I hope not.
How the fuck did you get that far without asking that question? What, do you just sit on trains and then ask where it's going, dude? What? This is cool. This movie's cool.
Get up. Get off. Get off. Get up. Me? Go. Get off. You're gonna die if you stay here.
Wow. Like, at least in Spider-Man, we got those cool shots that once Peter discovered his power, it was like this awesome, like this montage is like iconic, right? The first thing he does is he catches everything when Mary Jane like slips on that milk, and he's like, and then he catches her. And fun fact, Tobey Maguire actually did that. It wasn't CGI. They did a lot of takes. They used like all of these camera tricks and they stuck things together to make it easier, of course, but he really did that. Cool, right? And this, she's just like an annoying lady who's like, get off the train! Also, the European guy, the evil bad guy, European guy, he's not wearing shoes. You're evil. Put on a suit and don't put on shoes. Just like an evil people do. Evil people put on suits but no shoes. Do evil things. Anyway, she gets these 3 people off the train and inadvertently saves their lives, kind of. But then they look towards them and they see evil Black Venom Spider-Man crawling towards them. For some reason, nobody else sees Spider-Man, or sorry, evil Ezekiel, whatever you want to call him. I don't think he has an evil name. He's just called Ezekiel, which is not really an evil name. Like Venom is an evil name. Green Goblin is an evil name. Ezekiel, it's like a biblical name, so not really.
Am I on the right train?
I don't know, man.
That other guy who doesn't know what train he's on comes back, and I think it's a recurring gag. It would have been funny if he just kept showing up everywhere, like in the Deadpool thing, the first movie, how the taxi driver was the same person. That would have been a cool callback. This is just a lame excuse for a callback. Sorry to be flexing all this knowledge on you, but really, I needed to take a verbal dump on this movie, and it's happening. Those are the sounds of cheeks clapping, because this is ass. All right, let's break down what happened, right? These 3 were going into another train. The evil spider was trying to kill them. As they were walking through, a person was doing the announcements, and then you could hear audio-wise that person getting attacked. This implies that there is a person in New York City who reads out the routes every day by hand. It's not an automated system, it's a guy doing that. And this also implies that Ezekiel hates these 3 girls, but the only thing he hates more is announcers. So he took time off to get those people. It gets worse from here. So they get off another train. And as soon as they do, cops arrest them. And they arrest Cassie first because they're like, you're kidnapping these 3 girls. The girls try to talk them out of it. And then we see evil Spider-Man. Now, if I was evil Spider-Man and I saw cops were arresting the girl who was obstructing me being able to take out the other 3, I would let the cops do their thing. But for some reason, Evil Ezekiel is like, I'm gonna take out the cops so Dakota Fanning and the 3 girls can get away. It doesn't make any sense, but he does it anyway. So he knows the girls, he sees them, they're all vulnerable, and he still decides, I'm going to take out the cops and not the girls. Okay. Alright. They then get up the subway, and Dakota Fanning steals a taxi cab. She never gives it back, by the way, so she's a thief. The main protagonist of this movie steals things. Not just one, by the way. She steals 2 cars in this movie. Who's the real villain?
Your voices are like drilling in the center of my skull, and I need to think.
What a likable character. I mean, honestly, they shouldn't even have written the script. They should have just been like, Dakota, you just go. I hate you bitches. Ah, fuck all of you. Fuck this shit. Ah, great take. We can't use most of that, but great take. It was good.
I'm Cassie. Okay, what are your names?
Oh, this is an introduction scene, right? I forgot. We're like quarter way through the movie. She's not introduced the other people. But yeah, she's Cassie. After telling people off, they introduce each other.
Cornwall? I'm Corazon. Maddie Franklin.
I'm just trying to help. Okay, anyone who wants to leave can leave right now.
She then says that this is not a kidnapping and says anybody who wants to leave can leave. One of the girls tries to leave and then she locks them in the car and says, no, you actually can't leave. So she's also kidnapping people. The protagonist of this movie kidnaps people and steals 2 cars. She also inadvertently kills a lot of people. Madam Web. They park their car, their taxi cab in the middle of a forest, and she says that line. Crazy shit's been happening and I don't know why.
Crazy shit's been happening and I don't know why. Stop asking me.
It's like they just needed something to say. And the writer was like, oh, I just say exactly how I'm feeling. I don't know, IDK, I don't know. At this point, everyone realizes that they know each other. All of the girls recognize Cassidy, and they're like, what's her name? Cassie? Cassidy? Madam Web.
I can see the future. You guys, just give her a chance, please.
Nice. I like that. That's good. I like this. This is the kind of movie that I'm into. I have like superpowers, kind of. Like, I can kind of see the future. I can see you're gonna become a whore. Like, probably didn't need to be a clairvoyant to see that. But,
I'm pretty sure I saved all of your lives, so you're welcome.
See? Can we just have a superhero like this? Can we have Superman? He like saves someone. He's like, excuse me, bitch. But I just went into a phone booth and I changed. And my underwear is literally sticking outside. You can see my package. And it's not big because I can't get everything I want. I saved your life. Now can I make you my wife or what? Really?
It was like a spider person.
Roll credits. Spider person. The Ezekiel story. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a French American. That's a movie that I want to see. The Ezekiel story. Reluctant Spider-Man. Sorry, Spider person. That's good. That's a really good one.
I'm gonna be back in a few hours. Can we trust you?
Bitch, you're in a forest after escaping a guy in a subway who tried to kill you. It's a bit late to ask that question, isn't it? Alright, so the 3 girls are being left in the forest. Yes, I know. Madam Web decides what the best thing to do is leave these people in a forest. Because she thinks that the forest is objectively a better place to leave them than with her. So that's what she does. She leaves 3 girls. If something happened to them in the forest, she'd have no way of knowing. And she also says she's going to leave for hours.
Don't do dumb things.
She says as she gets into a stolen taxi. So here's, I think, what the referential Spider-Man joke thing is. She goes back to her house, she reads up on her mom. For some reason, you know, she's like, maybe her mom has all the answers. I don't know how she put that together. But then she figures out that a spider bite might cause you to be able to become like Spider-Man. Then she tries it and then realizes she does not have any of the powers Spider-Man possesses. She then sees a picture of that evil guy Ezekiel with her mom, and she needs to know why, because she has no idea. So let's take a few seconds to talk about these 3 girls. I don't really have much to say. Again, I don't know them as actors. I think that just the roles, these specific roles, are not giving them much to work with, so it's hard to say whether the performance is good or bad. In this movie, it's nothing really to do. But their characters are just insufferable. Like, all of them have stuff that is either too melodramatic or ridiculous. Like, for instance, Maddie's parents are too rich, so they don't spend time with her, and that's why she's a rebel. I think one girl has like everyone died, and the Latin girl is obviously getting deported because Donald Trump apparently wrote this movie. So we got that. Does her shirt say I eat myself for breakfast? What does I eat math for breakfast? Oh my god. I can't play this next section, but they decide to go to a diner to eat food. You may be asking, how do these girls know where the hell they are in 2003 with no GPS after being dropped off in a random forest by a random girl who said that she would be back hours later and it's now dark in a forest? My answer is Denny's. It's always there whenever you need it. Except this isn't a Denny's, it's just a diner. I had to turn the audio off at this point because there's some copyrighted music. At some point in this story, they use Britney Spears' song Toxic, which is one of the best songs ever. They use it in this movie, so it made me cry a little bit. Now, after going to a diner, one of the girls recognizes that there are boys there and she wants to bang. She wants to smash it and bang. After realizing, that girl, the glasses chick, after Maddie realizes that she wants to smang it with the boys, she ties up her shirt and is like, you gotta go slut yourself out. This has no bearing on the movie whatsoever and is a random scene. And I want to remind you that the director of this movie and writer is a girl. I don't know why she put this in the movie, because it doesn't affect anybody, and I don't know if it's a little nod to how girls that are younger perceive themselves to look or to have to look. Boys don't say anything beforehand or after, so there's no indication that they want her to dress a certain way. They were looking at her anyway. I just don't really know what this does for anyone. But a few minutes later, they're dancing on tables, and nobody seems to care in the diner that they are young teenage table dances. That's something. Madam Web comes back like 8 hours later when it's fucking dark, and she gets annoyed that the girls have found a place to eat and are table dancing. I don't know. I don't think I'd be annoyed because you said you were going for a few hours and it got dark. I'm not sure. Just then, evil Spider-Man Ezekiel comes in, walks through the diner wearing his full Spider-Man suit. Nobody even bats an eye. They're just like, oh my god, dude, you're cool. Is that a stealth suit? You want to see? I want to see how stealthy you are.
Julia!
Sorry, I forgot about this scene. So, of course, evil Ezekiel just comes in causing havoc. So sorry. So, you know when you cut movies really fast, sometimes people don't really get it. It's just like, whoa, lots of action. I slowed down this clip, and for whatever reason, there's a shot of evil Ezekiel jumping backwards onto the table, putting his ass into someone's face. I don't really know what is going on or what the editor decided to do there, but they reversed the clip for some reason. So he just goes back onto the table and then he smacks up a guy for no reason. May I remind you, the bad guy's evil intention is to kill these three girls because they were gonna kill him. That random diner dude who he backed his ass up into, not a thing, just some guy. He was just like, I don't like cherry pie. Anyway, he snaps one of the girls' neck and actually stabs Madam Web, and the movie ends, thank God. Except it was just a dream, a vision that Madam Web had, and a vision I had as well, but that's not actually what happened. So, after having the vision, Madam Web uses her superpower, driving a taxi into someone's asshole. This is not the first time she will run over the bad guy and try to kill him. I don't know if the director realized how funny it is to have a superhero who decides their special skill is to use a taxi to run someone over and try and cripple them or kill them for life. That is maybe one of the funnier things ever. If Taxi Driver was like this and Robert De Niro used his taxi to run people over, that movie would be even better somehow. Martin Scorsese needs to take from this movie. Also, Madam Web's actual superpower is not being even affected in the slightest. Like, her partner O'Neill died from a car hitting it. She ran into a building and was unscathed until Ezekiel held her hand and then released some venom into it. Literally, she walked out of this like normally. That's a superpower. I also have one more comment on the taxi cab. Very, very strong taxi cab. It can take a beating. So I guess New York taxi cabs, they really can withstand anything.
Can't you stop him with your visions? I don't know how to control them.
She's like That's So Raven, basically. She's That's So Raven, but the girls think she has superpowers. That's So Wes Craven. At this point, Madam Web takes 3 girls into a motel, which I would think would raise some suspicion since they're pretty young girls. But apparently because it's a girl, everything is a-okay in this world. Also, nothing makes sense. Even better than that, she says that she doesn't want to help them and tries to abandon them, which is hilarious. Madam Web, one of the superheroes, I'm told. superhero tries to abandon young girls who she knows are being hunted by an evil man named Ezekiel. So as she's driving back, she passes by the diner and for some reason gets out because she just wanted to admire her work, I guess. When she goes inside, she sees Ezekiel and it's like some sort of hallucination because spiders can like through spiders sense, call, direct, they can talk to each other, and there's this amazing scene that the director thought to not delete in which they just talk at each other really loudly. There's a lot of reverb, there's a lot of, it's like one of these fever dreams when you hear like 8 people talking at the same time. A lot is going on but nothing's really being said. It's kind of the scene that happens.
Poison enters their system.
They're just teenagers.
In the future, I become much more. In the future.
It's times like this I wonder whoever the director is. Her name starts, she's got 2 initials, SJ. Oh man, which should be smoke a joint because that's really what you need to do to actually get through this movie. I'm not saying that your directing is bad, lady, whoever you are, but it's horrible because, look, I get it. It's a superhero movie, you want to do super effects and stuff. Every now and again, it pays to just have a simple conversation. If these two could just hold a conversation without 10,000 cuts and like reverb and he keeps on appearing left and right off the screen for no reason, I think we would have got the point, you know? This is just like style over substance, and it doesn't have much substance.
Those girls cannot exist.
How come you get to decide?
Because I'm the one with the powers.
And yeah, and at this point, this guy keeps saying the word powers, and like, I honestly wanted to bang my head against some concrete. Because she asked, like, how come you get to decide whether they live or die? And he literally responded, because I have powers. Is that not something like someone's 7-year-old niece would write? Because I got powers, mom. That made it into this movie? I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Tell me where they are.
At some point, he starts screaming at her. I don't know what's happening, and then she wakes up and there's a very nice loop-de-loop shot instead of just, you know, not moving the camera like a freak. They decided to turn the camera like it's a music video. That's just woo. Turns out she didn't actually leave the girls because that would be like too far. She just had a bad dream about leaving them. But if the dream went well, she probably would have actually left them. But she wakes up, and then for legitimately reasons that I to this day don't understand, she teaches them how to do CPR. Genuinely, I promise you, I've been thinking about this for days now. The only thing I can come up with that might make any semblance of sense is because the dude has poison stuff in his hands and then he touches people and they get poisoned. I'm gonna tell you right now, CPR does not help when someone is poisoned. You can't do mouth to mouth. You can't just tongue kiss someone and they're like, I'm better now. But for whatever reason, Cassie's like, look, I'm gonna teach you CPR in case you need to use it one day. And what do you know, it actually does come in handy later. But we'll get to that.
I was lucky. The longer he holds on to you, the more poison gets into your system. Then what happens?
You bitch. What do you think happens when someone gets poisoned? Then they have a good day? Oh, Cassie should have actually ran her over with a car after that. So yeah, I guess she's gonna teach CPR because of poison. That's like giving someone a haircut after they get shot. I don't think I see the correlation.
All I know is that she was researching spiders. In her notebook, there's some stuff about crazy stuff.
Well written. Whoever wrote this, well written. That's good. This was written at a Starbucks. The script was written at a Starbucks. Alright, so after she teaches them CPR, she decides that her mom's book about spiders has all the answers to everything in the world. So she goes to Peru. She's going back to the spot where she knows her mom died. She's going to Peru. And she's leaving the girls again. The girls are being hunted every day by this killer who has found them twice now and has almost killed them. But she's gonna go to Peru. Of course, she's not just leaving them anywhere. She leaves them with Ben, the guy from Parks and Rec. That's my favorite scene in the movie. Like, it skips to her catching a bus and she's in Peru. And like, just the image for me of the bus driving into the like rainforest is like, can you imagine in Peru they're like, yeah, one of our stops is just the middle of the forest, then we go right back onto the road, but yeah, for you we'll go into the very middle of the forest. What a stupid concept. I guess so she catches a bus into the forest and she finds the exact spot where her mom dies. For some reason, the guy who used to be part of that tribe that I don't care enough to remember is there, but he's dressed in normal clothes now. Zero explanation for why. I don't know, did he give up the thug life or what? I don't know what that is. He's got an ascot. He could be solving crimes with a dog that smokes weed. I don't know.
By Ezekiel Sims?
His motives were selfish. He used your mom to find us.
His name is Ezekiel Sims, and he's not Amish. What? He should have a pitchfork and think every creature in the modern world is against him. That's a better story. That's a better story than like this.
You have to heal the wounds of your past.
That sounds like literally every therapy session I've ever avoided.
Nice. Okay, quirky girl saying quirky things. This guy takes her to a pool and then pushes what I assume is her soul or subconscious into the pool, where she then... Basically, this is all A Wonderful Life. Like, anytime a character is taken back into their past and can interact with it, there's this amazing movie. I'm sure most people have seen it. Jimmy Stewart. A Wonderful Life. Frank Capra. Great movie. Better than this. But sorry. And it's about a dude who sees what life would be like without him and then realizes his worth in the world. This is that, but like not good. So she sees her mom and like what her mom does. She even gets to talk to her mom and hug her. So that's pretty cool. Some cool water. So it turns out the mom was actually trying to save Madam Web, or Cassie, whatever you want to call her, because Cassie had issues. She was going to be a baby with issues, and then the mom was like, oh man, nobody can save, no doctors can save me, I'll just go to Peru, they can save me. That's what happened. That's why she was trying to find the spider, to save her daughter. Madam Web's foster parents. Clearly she grew up to be a paramedic and somewhat a decent member of society, albeit a shitty one. So the parents, the foster parents, must have done a good job, right? Or the adopted parents, we never hear about them. Cassie's dad, never hear about it, just her mom. Good storytelling, guys.
And when you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? Are you farting ninja? Take it away. God damn it. I don't know if you caught that, but they reversed the Spider-Man thing.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Great power comes great responsibility. This dude legitimately said, with responsibility comes great power. Some shit like that. Poetically, Ezekiel then threatens to kill his assistant, I'm gonna say, maybe wife, maybe sister, maybe both. Who knows how evil he is? But Ezekiel wants to find these girls. He doesn't know where they are. Meanwhile, they're at Ben's house. But Ben's is alone because Madam Web is in Peru. And Ben is, for some reason, Ben's sister-in-law is also there. And Ben's sister-in-law's husband, although his wife is pregnant, isn't in the country. Is that good? Are we good on this? Does this make sense? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, her water breaks and they have to take her to the hospital. So Ben is going to deliver his sister-in-law's baby while protecting 3 other underage girls in a car, even though his friend probably kidnapped them. Superhero stuff, guys. While surveying the whole city of New York, that other girl, the evil man's assistant, manages to see one of them and then can pinpoint their location directly. So he puts on his evil spider suit and he is about to take care of them. Dakota Johnson gets home from Peru. I know, I just call her whatever. And she sees a puddle of water there. And then she was like, oh, okay, I know exactly where they're going, the hospital, and I know the route. She goes there, but she doesn't just go there. She has to do the only thing that a Madam Web can do. She steals another vehicle from an ambulance. So basically, what I'm saying is, the ambulance that came there to save someone, theoretically, and probably someone has died because she stole that ambulance, like she's CJ from San Andreas. Can you imagine there's like an old dude dying, going into cardiac arrest, having a heart attack, and they need the ambulance to get him somewhere, and then he dies because Cassie. She's the only paramedic who's killed more people than she saved.
What is that?
That's Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. So now, for no reason, by the way, I didn't know this motherfucker was using grenades and shit. He's like just evolving as we speak. First he didn't have shoes on, now he's evil Spider-Man. He's got a whole outfit, pretty cool. He also has bombs and grenades, so he's like the Green Goblin plus Spider-Man. Or the Gobbler Man. He's the Gobbler Man. This is, again, maybe my second favorite part in the movie. Cassie has no superpowers, other than the fact she seems to be immune to violence of any kind. She just doesn't seem to get hurt, and she likes running things over and through things. She takes this paramedic van through concrete, solid concrete, which is not, I mean, that's would never happen, but she does it. Not only that, she does it from 2 to 3 to 5 to 10 floors up, maybe, I would say, aiming at a guy that she couldn't possibly know where he was because she doesn't have a GPS. It's 2003, and even if she did, she'd just be going to the hospital. But for some reason, she knew that this guy would be there. Then, if you slow down the footage, Ezekiel, for some reason, jumps into the truck and then gets hit. Let me show you that scene. Glorious. He jumped into the harm's way. So if we're counting, this is the only superhero who has run over the bad guy twice with different cars. Never really seen that before. We've got sort of a Terminator thing going, minus the Terminator. But yeah, no, Cassie doesn't, she's not even remotely injured. Nothing's even scathed. But anyway, that's cool. Ezekiel is absolutely unscathed because he's got the power of spiders. And as we all know, if you run over a spider with a car, nothing happens. At some point while they're driving, Ezekiel tries to jump on the the ambulance, and Cassie uses the power of those defibrillators to try and kill him yet again. So she basically is using the equipment of a paramedic to try and kill people at this point. I don't know who's more sociopathic, him or her. I guess we're still figuring it out. Then she has like a million visions of going to this huge firework place and setting off fireworks and somehow escaping the bad guy. Thank goodness New York has a whole building filled with fireworks just waiting for something. They start lighting all the fireworks up, and this is now the conclusion scene, the big finish. It is the most CGI overloaded thing that I've seen. At one point, I don't know if it was my computer or the movie, but I have a pretty decent computer. It actually lagged. Pretty sure that's actually what happened in the movie. So, there's a lot of CGI here. The whole basis of this finale is that Cassie lights fireworks and the fireworks turn into like bombs. Don't know if you guys know anything about fireworks. That's not how that works, but you know, it might as well be at this point. I just want this movie to be over.
Go straight ahead when I say now. I knew she had a plan.
Thankfully, a helicopter is just waiting for them because, you know, that's what happens in New York City. Helicopters just wait. They're like Ubers. Even in 2003, helicopters were just waiting to pick up. They see some people down there. They're like, oh, of course we'll rescue you. If you just like maneuver to us, we'll rescue you. At this point, Cassie turns into Captain America because she pulls over a shield and she absolutely heroically blocks fireworks from exploding in her face. Except she was the one who lit them, which makes this much less heroic, knowing that she's the one who's almost doing this to herself. Evil Spider-Man then bunts what looks like some rocket firework into a chopper, and the chopper explodes and dies. So, I guess that's what happens when you light too many fireworks, kids. Choppers blow up. Somehow all of the girls get stuck in various positions where they can't get out, and Cassie needs to save them, but she doesn't know how to do that. But then she remembers the training that guy who pushed her into the lake said. With great responsibility comes so much more power. And then she uses her power to be in 3 places at once. She helps a few of the kids, and one of them, she's like, you'll be okay. And then the funniest thing in the whole movie happens. While she's helping the 3 of them, Ezekiel just punches her in the stomach. It is a pretty useless skill set if you're going to help people from all different angles and be absolutely open in the middle of the field. I'd never seen anything like it, but it's hilarious. I don't think it was supposed to be as funny as it was, but it was just so easy to foil that plan. Thankfully, scaffolding again takes control over here, and scaffolding is the real hero because it falls on Ezekiel, and that's the real thing that pins him down. And then thanks to more scaffolding, an S sign comes and just throws them all into the water. But before it does, the S sign, like, I think it kills Ezekiel, but it probably doesn't. This is a man who's been run over by a taxi at full speed, and then he got run over by an ambulance. Not only just at full speed, but the ambulance was coming down onto him and he jumped and it hit his back. So he got killed by a big P sign. But unfortunately, Cassie also gets wrecked because she gets thrown into the water and an S sign flies past her, and earlier in the movie she had this huge premonition this was going to happen, and it all relates back. So people are like, whoa, what a cool movie, I assume. Then they fish her out the water and they start doing the thing that Cassie taught them. CPR. No mouth to mouth though. This is not that kind of movie, guys. She wakes up, but her eyes are really light blue. So I think she's Paul Newman now. That's a joke for the older people probably not watching this, sorry. At this point, we get a shot of Ben sitting with his sister-in-law's baby. What the fuck? She's happy too. Doesn't even give a like. She's like, yeah, my husband's out he's working, but what I'm really doing is working on my brother-in-law's penis.
Are you all immediate family?
Yes. They're all mine.
Then there's like a really such a heartwarming scene. Cassie's now blind, so she thinks that these three people are her family, and the nurse is like, yeah, that's really cool, but this is not like Vin Diesel shit. This is like immediate family only type beat. And then we get the final scene where we see Madam Web is actually now in a wheelchair, and I guess she's lost most of her functions and eyesight, which is a bummer. I gotta say, like, I did not expect at the end of the movie to be like, oh, that's really, I did not expect that.
And we got takeout, but we didn't know. Kung Pao chicken is perfect. How'd you know?
Ooh, that's not gonna get annoying. I love when people do that when they're... Didn't they do that in Scary Movie 3? Where they had the scene of Queen Latifah and she just kept saying things, like predicting shit before other people could even have a chance to say what they wanted? That's not gonna be annoying at all. Very nice, Madam Web.
Can you see us in the future?
Then Sony makes the mistake of trying to set this up for a new movie because they're like, do you see what we are like in the future? And then she says, I see them fighting crime with me and blah, 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 blah. And basically it's like a trailer for the new Madam Web 2, The Webining or whatever.
And you know the best thing about the future.
Yes, I do know the best thing about the future. But I'd like you to say it first, Madam Web.
It hasn't happened yet.
Thank God, and hopefully it fucking doesn't with this movie. There are so many timelines, and I hope I'm in the one that doesn't involve the sequel to this. But that is how the movie ends. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Madame Web. Honestly, it was a piece of work, wasn't it? There was no end sequence. Unlike Marvel movies, they don't have a post-scene blooper. I guess they showed us 1 hour and 30 minutes off bloopers. That just happened to be the movie. Yeah, I think this movie just takes from other movies that are way better. If you want to watch a great movie about a post-apocalyptic world where people are being hunted by someone, watch Terminator. It's the best. If you want to watch a movie about a person who ceases to exist and wants to ex-nay himself or whatever and then doesn't realize the meaning of like life, It's a Wonderful Life is a great movie. Fuck it. If you want to watch a movie about cars, watch Cars or Fast and the Furious. Both great movies. Just watch anything besides this. I just want to say something. I'll probably say this in every review I do, but I love movies. They make sense to me. And I grew up watching pretty old movies and realized that you had to have an idea that really was going to work for someone to be like, I think we're going to make this movie. Nowadays, it seems like, oh, okay, it's pretty easy and safe bet to say a superhero movie is going to do well because the audience likes it. And that's fine. But sometimes it removes the creativity out of a movie. And then you get things like this. There's a lot of product placement. There's a lot of mechanical writing. There's a lot of acting that just doesn't go far. And I think nobody in this project really had fun doing it because it doesn't show. So I hope in the future at some point we get better movies, or if not, I hope I can make something because it is tough to sit through this. And I'll tell you what, I'm not even joking. This week alone, I watched 4 of these. 4 movies exactly like this that came out, all new, that just relied on CGI, not good writing, not great anything else. And I guess I'm going to review some of them. So, thank you so much for watching this. I'm sorry I put you through this, but if you like this channel, I'm going to put you through another one real soon. And it starts with the Borderlands. Take care of yourselves and watch good movies. Thank you. Bye-bye.
She ain't even got an ass, she did a dash and bit a lash. You know a dash and she know.